everybody. Welcome to the show. If you are new to the channel, I am your host, Robert, a.k.a. The Tall Man. This is my lovely wife, Lisa, and co-host, a.k.a. Mrs. Tall Man. Not that anyone ever calls her that. We are coming to you live right now from Tall Man Mobile, somewhere here in Central Florida. And here's a little bit of look at Balcony Cam. We appreciate you all coming with us live. No, that is not a look right outside the RV. I wish it was. That was from one of our recent cruises, and we know you guys all love Balcony Cam, so we like to give you that at the beginning of every show. We hope everybody had a fantastic week and weekend. We appreciate you being with us. In fact, let's say hello to a couple people, and then we'll get to the news.
Sounds good.
All right, so Mama Tall Man first in tonight.
Yeah.
Sunday night catch up with all the news and the cruise news, of course, right?
Yes.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Hello, Macrina. Patricia, welcome to you as well. Jarrett, welcome, a new subscriber.
Yay.
Recent subscriber.
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome to the live show, Jarrett.
Welcome.
Please feel free to participate.
Yes, absolutely.
Hello, Irene. Alex, yes, we are a lively bunch. Good evening, everyone. Alex wants to know when everybody's leaving on the next cruise. Jarrett's going out on the Carnival Glory December 3rd.
Nice. Our kids just got off the Glory.
Baby Tall Man.
Yeah.
Just, or Daughter Tall Man, Tall Daughter Man, I don't know, whatever we call her.
What you call her, tall adult?
Yeah, I don't know. I call her Alyssa. She just literally got back yesterday from the Glory. So, Jared, you want to know? We've got a great playlist for the Glory. I'm sure you've seen it already. Patricia's going in 194 days. That means she's going on the group cruise. Group cruise! Yay! We're going to talk about the group cruise here in a little bit. Jared's 221 days.
Nice.
September 22nd for Irene.
Nice.
All right. That view is outside your RV. You've got another issue. I know, right? let's yeah, that'd be another problem. Thankfully, TMC does the countdown for y'all. I know exactly, right? So we know when our time is. So there you go. All right, everybody. So there is a lot of news this week. Of course, it seems to be always a lot of cruise news. Some of it's news, some of it's just interesting things that happen in the industry. And so we're going to talk about all of it. And so without further ado, let's get to the news.
Here's the latest cruise news with your host, the Tall Man.
Well, there we go. By the way, if Danny Mac shows up, it's no longer Novate.
Yay!
Woohoo! I actually fixed something. All right, so the first thing in the news this week is scams. All right, let's talk about scams. There's a lot of cruise scams out there, and a lot of them happen on Facebook. In fact, recently scammers have been targeting cruise directors' Facebook pages. And in short, guys, if you're on a Facebook page from a cruise director or anybody from the cruise industry, if you will, not travel agents, but anybody working in the cruise industry, they're never going to offer you some kind of for-pay access, whether you get on the ship early or some kind of funky group thing. These are all scams to take your money. So if you're in on some of these Facebook pages of different cruise directors from different cruise lines and you see these things, please ignore them 100%. They are scams. Next in the news. So a recent passenger going on one of the celebrity ships has a question about, well, let's just say bathing suit decor.
Okay.
Decor? Dress code, if you will.
Okay.
When you're at the pool. How revealing, or how much reveal is too much reveal? You know what I mean? Bathing suits these days can go from lots of fabric to very little fabric.
Very little fabric, yes.
She's a younger girl, 23 years old, likes to wear smaller bikinis, and wanted to know if that was going to be okay. And in the end, it is fine, but you're going to want to be wary of a couple things. And these are standard things in the industry to begin with. If you're going to leave the pool area, you're going to want to put on a cover-up, especially if you're going to be going back to your cabin, you're going to be going to the buffet, or even the restroom. Because the reality is, if you're wearing a smaller bikini and you get up and walk around, well, you might get some unwanted attention. And as long as that doesn't bother you, fine, as long as you got clothing on. Right? Clothing is not optional, but, smaller bikinis are just fine. So I just found it interesting that this was in the news. And a lot of times it's because there's a lot of new people in the cruise industry.
Yes.
And though all these guidelines are on the cruise lines websites, a lot of people don't go and read through the fine print because there could be a lot of fine print. So the reality is, wear what you want as long as you're comfortable. And ultimately, if you're going to leave the pool area, put on a cover-up. Next in the news, this was in our thumbnail. There was a huge brawl in the terminal for Carnival in Galveston.
Yes.
This was actually after the cruise. It wasn't before the cruise. And it was down in the luggage area. And it was a very large brawl. I don't know how many people were completely involved, but because of the incident, 24 people have been banned for life from Carnival cruises. And so even though it happened in the terminal and this is out of Carnival's jurisdiction, it deals with, Border Patrol, Homeland Security. It is still sort of cruise line territory, and so they have banned these 24 people from ever cruising on Carnival again.
Wow.
And so, folks,
Don't fight, guys.
y'all just,
Be nice.
just, debarkation
Yes.
can be stressful.
It can.
Vacation is over.
Yes.
Everybody's sad. The debarkation process in and itself can become stressful because it could take a lot longer than you expect and long lines. Typically these days it's pretty quick for most of the cruise lines. But please relax a little bit. It'll be okay. Because now these people are no longer
24. Wow.
And many of the comments were ban them all. And to be honest, for fighting, I agree 100%. It's absolutely unacceptable. Next in the news. So, how many people out there who have had balcony cabins before have lost the use of your balcony for a day or a period of the day? I know I have.
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
For anyone else in the chat, just write balcony yes or balcony no. Right?
Okay.
We've talked about this pretty much on any cruise we've ever gone on that we have a balcony. On one day, they're going to be doing some cleaning and or maintenance.
Absolutely.
And during this time, typically, not always, typically a notice is left in your cabin. On your door, your cabin steward tells you, usually a multiple ways, that something's going to be going on in your balcony. Lock the door, close your curtains. Well, in this case, this guest, obviously it's either their first cruise or they've never had a balcony before, and they were a little taken back by the fact that they were going to be losing access to their balcony for a day. And so for those who book into balcony cabins who have never had a balcony cabin before, or if you're new to the cruise industry, this is standard practice.
Yes.
Right? The salt water of the ocean in steel, I don't care how many layers of paint you put on there, it does not do well. And so once a cruise, somebody's going to be up there washing your balcony.
Yes.
Now, sometimes it's further maintenance where they're putting more varnish on the handrails, which take a little bit longer, and they don't want you to go out there and touch it. And so they'll restrict access a little bit longer. But this is an ongoing thing. So for those in balconies, just know that this could be a potential thing.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to keep the salt off of those ships.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes.
Just think of all the people up north that, when they salt the roads for
the cars,
snow and ice, they've got to go wash their cars.
They've got to wash the cars.
Yep. Got to wash the ship. No different.
Yeah. No different than for the ships, I should say.
Yes.
All right. So the next question we have for you in the chat, right? Towel. How many who have been on a Carnival cruise find their bath towels too small and very hard or very rough? I want to know your thoughts. In fact, while we're waiting for those thoughts to come up, because I don't want to read the story, we'll go ahead and read some of the comments that are coming in here.
Sounds good.
How did the grandkids' tall man like their cruise on the Glory? Generally pretty good. Their cabin was a little dirty, and so they had to have it come cleaned again. Outside of that, they actually had a great time. Yeah, so outside of that. Food, they said, was pretty decent, right?
Yep.
So Hello, Valerie. Welcome.
Hi.
Tuesday. It is Sunday, Tuesday. Miss me with that bullparda. You have tour of deck 15. I'm trying to see the location of our cabin. Yes, it's coming. If you give me just a minute, let me move things around here. I can tell you when if you want to really know exact date. Deck 15 is going to be in 2 days on the 29th. So you'll see that in a couple of days. Okay. Yeah, we can only release them all so quick. So do that. And by the way, do us all a huge favor. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up, become part of the Tall Man Clan. If you are into cruising, we do all things cruising. If you're really into cruising, we broadcast live every single night. We are on cruise ships. We take you all around the ship, and we do it in our own way, which is a little bit different than everybody else. We give you 360-degree tours. We're not on ships. We do stuff like this, cruise news and reviews and other fun things. So if you could, if you enjoy cruising, consider becoming part of the Tall Man Clan. And for gosh sakes, do us that. Thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up.
Yes, we do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It really does help the channel. And it costs you nothing. All right, so yeah, that's coming out. Patricia's like, I behave. Balcony, no. Balcony, yes. So Valerie has never had her balcony access loss. Elaine has never had balcony loss. Patricia has never had balcony loss. Macrina did. Thank you for the thumbs up.
Yes, thank you.
It's usual happens on port days. Absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to do it on a sea day. So yeah, usually on port days. Haven't had a balcony yet. Okay, so Irene hasn't had a balcony. Jarrett has lost his balcony for at least a little bit of time. And from the towels just fine. Towel, no. So she's fine with it. Balcony, no. I just go about my day and got nothing to hide. We sort of feel the same way. If they're cleaning, it hasn't affected us in one way or the other. Bev says the towels are fine for her. Balcony, yes, for Carol. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Not a problem. We're here to do what we can. Towels are too small, Elaine says. Alyssa says, it was good. Biggest negative note was dirty room, fighting in Bimini, and safety in Nassau. We're going to talk about safety in Nassau in just a little bit. Hello, Carol. Welcome. Little one had no complaints. He even made a new girlfriend in Camp Ocean. She's talking about Blake. It's an older picture. Blake's now 5.
Yes.
So for those who've been around, every once in a while, Blake, if you're still awake, run out here so you can say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably in bed already.
He
Anyway.
probably is.
So, okay, it's school day for him tomorrow, and he goes to bed at 9. All right, so let's get back to the news. So the whole towel thing, there was a guest on Carnival that complained about the towels.
Okay. That
they were too hard and that they were too tiny.
I've heard one comment before that they were too hard, and it's never bothered me.
I've never paid that much attention.
No.
I get in the shower, do my thing, get out of the shower, dry off, and move on.
No, but I find the towels on, is it Royal? Yeah, I think it's Royal, that they're skinnier.
Yeah.
And those I think are a little bit skinny, but the towel size on Carnival has never bothered me.
Well, this particular gentleman's a larger gentleman. And so he in his comment, he probably said I'm 400 pounds and proud of it.
Okay.
And, for someone who's a larger person, I would agree that the towels are kind of tiny.
It's like you trying to dry off with a hand towel.
Yes. So the simple solution, everybody, is...
Or me trying to dry off with a hand towel, I guess I should say.
Use one of the pool towels, right? Most of the cruise lines put the pool towels in your stateroom. Now, if they do not, just simply ask your cabin steward or cabin attendant if they could get you a couple of the pool towels. They will absolutely gladly do this for you. And this is the biggest thing with a lot of complaints that come up in the industry. Nobody ever says anything.
Yeah.
They never go to customer service. They never ask their cabin steward. They never ask their waiter, whatever their issue and or problem is. And it just comes up later on in a Reddit, in an Instagram. John Heald, right? For those who don't know, John Heald is Carnival's brand ambassador, and he is the shield that takes all the brunt blows from passengers. But yeah, just ask, and they will gladly accommodate you. So anyway, so that was the bit about the towels. Carnival shares their party list for the ships now that are sailing in Australia.
Okay.
I'm sure many of you out there know that Carnival recently absorbed P&O Australia. They have refurbished the 2 of the ships, and giving them different names, sort of. And anyway, at the beginning of the year, when they put out the list of parties, deck parties and stuff that are going to happen on all the ships, these ships that are going to be sailing in Australia were left off the list. And of course, a lot of people were upset. In the end, guys, they're basically going to have the same I'm not going to read them all to you, but you got the Globe Party, and there's a 90s party, and then there's, you know what? I'll read them to you. On the Carnival Splendor, there's going to be Island Party, Backyard Bash, Superhero Music Party, again, the 80s Rock and Glow Party. Let's not forget Silent Disco is going to be on there, Legends of the Lido, Rock the Promenade, and of course, their sail away party as always. And on the Carnival Adventure, basically essentially the same. So do not fear those Carnival lovers. Your deck parties will be there on the ships sailing out of Australia. So if you're sailing out of Galveston this weekend, you're not watching us. So this alert frequently comes up. There are some traffic woes in Galveston actually through tomorrow. They're working on the roads. Getting in and out of Galveston, there's one road.
Yes.
And even the roads around the port, especially for the Carnival terminals, traffic just sucks. We were there for the Jubilee, and the traffic there just sucks. Anyway, they occasionally put out an alert to alert everybody of additional traffic problems. So over the past 3 days, they've been working on the roads, which are causing some detours and road closures and things. And so just know, if you're coming into Galveston tomorrow and you're watching us now, that there's going to be some traffic problems. Leave some extra time.
Good information.
Thank you. So we have talked about this, I don't know how many times. In fact, I've even shot my own video of this, but the pool chair entitlement has reared its ugly head yet again. And as always, this one happened to be on a Royal Caribbean ship. Now, what I find interesting is a lot of this stuff ends up coming out in TikTok. And I don't know why, but it just seems that it comes out in TikTok. In this case, it was on a Royal Caribbean ship on the Utopia of the Seas. And this particular person noticed that, the first row of chairs, and there was like 7 or 8 or 9 of them. There was a bunch of them in a row. All the towels, similar bands, all tiled on. It was like one big family or something.
Right.
And they sat there forever. And she videoed it and posted it on TikTok. What I found most interesting, there was a future post about this. About an hour later, she caught a crew member taking all the towels off. So bravo, Royal Caribbean, on the Utopia of the Seas.
Well, Royal Caribbean puts those signs out that you're only supposed to, hold
They
it for no
do.
more than 30 minutes.
They do, but it's rarely enforced, and that's the thing. In fact, the next news piece is the same thing, but it's on NCL.
Okay.
A recent guest on the NCL, where is it? I forget which ship it was. Oh my gosh, I can't find it. The Escape.
Okay.
Noticed the same thing. Right around 10 o'clock, the pool attendants had been watching. They're watching. Now, whether they do things about it is a different story. But they went and started tagging signs on chairs
Okay.
that had not been sat in. And an hour later, it's only supposed to be 30 minutes. They gave them an hour. If nobody had sat in them or come to the chair, they removed all the belongings. Now, if there were personal belongings, they were put in lost and found. So just because you put a personal belonging there does not mean this is your chair.
It does not extend your allotted time.
No. And you will find your stuff gone. In the case of the cruise line actually adhering to their policy. And I wish this was the case on all the cruise lines across the industry. If they would just start doing this,
following
like
their
regular
own rules.
then nobody's going to do this chair thing anymore.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. They do it because they get away with it. And until they stop getting away with it, they're going to continue to do it.
Right.
Right? I feel it's the same thing about the fighting. Right? For a long time, fighting has just been, they get a slap on the wrist and away they go.
Yes.
Now people are getting banned for life.
Yes.
It hasn't stopped the fighting yet, but I believe the more severe the penalty, that these things will just go away. I hope so, at least when it comes to the fighting. But when it comes to these chair hogs and the entitlement, if you will. I hope they start adhering to the policy, put those things out there. Look, we talked about this in one of our other streams. It was 6 a.m. I believe it was on the World America. I was out there. The chairs hadn't even been put out yet. They were just finishing washing the deck, and the pool attendants were just beginning to realign the chairs. There was a guy sitting there with a half a dozen towels waiting to stick them on the chairs. 6 o'clock in the morning. I bet he set his alarm to do it.
He might have.
And probably went back to bed.
Yeah, I seem to remember you telling me that you had gone back after breakfast, and
Yeah.
the towels were all there, but he
He
was
was long
nowhere
gone.
to be found.
Long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, long gone.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But
Yeah.
it happens industry-wide.
It does.
Moving on, the Celebrity Excel, a little bit to our dismay, is coming out a little bit earlier.
Oh.
It is ahead of schedule.
Oh.
And this has been happening a lot in the industry, which I think is great because the shipyards are getting the ships done a little bit ahead of time. So they've actually moved up their preview cruises, not the inaugural, but most cruise ships will have preview cruises for travel agents, industry people, supposedly influencers. Not that we get invited. Yo, cruise lines, invite us. We'd love to go. We're going to map your ship for you.
Right.
Anyway.
We give you lots of coverage.
Come on. Invite us. Anyway. But yeah, so it's coming out a little bit early. So they're adding another 3-day preview cruise ahead of
right.
schedule.
Okay.
So that's excellent, right? So let's catch up with a couple of the things here.
Okay.
And then get back to it. Jared's like, I misunderstood the balcony question. The balcony question, Jared, was simply this. Have you ever been in a balcony and lost the use of your balcony for a period of time during a day because they were going to be doing cleaning and or maintenance? That was the question.
Yeah.
And so if you have, you would have written balcony, yes. If you had not had an issue, balcony, no. And I don't mean an issue being that it upset you that they were doing it, but that you either, yes, have had that happen to you, or no, you had not.
Yes.
So anyway, don't worry about it. Alex, I've never sailed on Carnival, only Hal and Upcoming Princess. Oh, okay, nice, Alex.
Very nice.
Ooh, and Costa too. Okay, we've never been on Costa. We're looking forward to trying them one day.
Yes.
Elaine says, I've used my pool towel as a blanket.
Oh, I do frequently.
Oh, yeah. Those, they're nice. They're big, and they're usually a little bit fluffier.
Yeah,
right? So,
absolutely.
Alex says, new rule. If you leave things on the pool lounger, you don't get it back until the night before disembarkation. Hey, I'm fine with that.
Confiscate it.
I know some will be like, I'm like, look, these chairs are free. Look, somebody suggested this. Put numbers on the chairs, and you have to go reserve them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only reserve them for a certain amount of time. And when your time is up, your time's up. End of story. It wasn't you have to rent them or pay for them.
You just
but
have to reserve
you have to reserve them. Right?
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe. Whatever.
Interesting.
Maybe that solves it. I don't know. Maybe that's just more of a hassle. I have no idea.
Oh, I'm thinking there's a lot more labor involved in
Yeah.
that.
Well, because look, if you reserved it for 2 hours, but you have to be using it.
Yeah.
You have to be using it. And your 2 hours is up, and you're still in it, that could create some awkwardness because your 2 hours is up, and I'm not leaving, or I don't know.
There's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah. What's up, Mark? How are you doing? Then my actual would be balcony no. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So moving on. So, a lot of getting back to rules and guidelines. You are not allowed to bring anything electrical with an
Surge
element
protector. Yeah.
on a cruise ship. In this particular case, this article or this news, if you will, was about teapots.
Okay.
Now, you can't bring your teapot
No.
on a cruise.
No,
At
definitely not.
At least here in the United States.
Right.
Now, in Europe, tea is a big thing. It's part of their culture. And so a lot of the cruise lines will actually install teapots in the cabins.
Yes.
Because tea it really is a big thing.
Yeah.
You still can't bring them, but they're provided.
Yes.
So this article isn't about that. This article is about the crew is not allowed to have teapots.
Oh.
And they're not allowed to bring them on.
Okay.
So even though in some of the European cruises, and even some of the American cruise lines, whether it's Princess, Carnival, whatever, when they go over there, they will actually put teapots in the cabins because, again, this is a very European thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the crew's not allowed to have them in their cabin.
Interesting.
I thought that was very strange.
That's something I've never thought of.
Yeah, I've never thought of it either because of just, you're not allowed to bring it.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
So, yeah, there's that. Oh, MSC cruise fans. Lisa and I are MSC cruise fans. We just got off the World America. We enjoy MSC. For those of you sailing on the seashore next year on April 5th, April 5th, you are no longer going to be sailing on the seashore on April 5th because they have canceled the cruise.
Oh, no.
I'm sure you all are aware of it already, but the ship is going into dry dock. And they need the extra 3 days. And so they have canceled that cruise for April 5th. It is about a year away, a little less than a year away.
Yes.
And so that cruise has been canceled. If you haven't seen the notice yet, you're seeing and hearing it for the first time, we apologize. Please reach out to the cruise line and or your travel agent to find out what your options are. So how many people have been on Carnival post-pandemic? As well as other cruise lines outside of Carnival post-pandemic, right? This one's going to be about food. So, right, food, yes, or food, no. That way there. It's sometimes our comments get behind us and we don't know what you're talking about. That's why I'm asking you to put a comment in there. Food, yes, or food, no.
Okay.
This is specific to Carnival, but I want to know who's had food on other cruise lines.
Okay.
Outside of Carnival. But you had to have had Carnival food too. So if you've been on a Carnival plus other ships, yes or no, okay? How many people from years past, Macrina, this is a good question for you, found that the food in the main dining room in years past was 5-star quality?
Yeah.
Right? Like gourmet,
really
5-star quality.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts.
Okay.
We'll wait for them to catch up and we'll come back to that.
Thank
you so much.
Yes.
By the way, while you guys are typing that in, if you didn't know, we also have a Facebook group. We post different things on Facebook than we do here. Specifically, when we're on cruise ships, we post all of our menus, pictures of food we're eating, daily activities. All of that gets put up in our Facebook group. So there it is right there. It is a private group, so you do have to answer 2 questions to get in. If you don't, it will decline you. So the first question is, what was the ship that you first sailed on or cruise line, and adhering to the group rules.
Yes.
And so please go there and consider, becoming part of our Facebook group as well. Don't forget our Patreon as well. I don't often say that, so there it is. That helps us keep on doing what we're doing. So thank you to all of our Patreon supporters.
Thank you.
Lastly, I don't know if we let me do this real quick here since I'm in here. Give me just a second, everybody, while you guys are typing your stuff in there. Hang on. There we go. Here we go.
What are you doing over there?
I don't know what I'm doing. Do I ever know what I'm doing? Those watching, who knows? Oh, that's horrible. No, I got to turn that off.
Yeah, we're
Let's see.
replaying a video or something. I don't know.
No, I guess I thought there was a way for me to post something in there, but no.
No?
No.
Okay.
I was just looking. We're always trying to expand our horizons with our live shows and things. And I put a goal. If you guys in your chat, there's a little thing up there at the top. We're trying to reach a goal during this live stream. Click on that thing and see what our goal is. Help us reach the goal. And if you do, you'll see what I'm going to do. I'm going to get crazy.
Oh, my.
I'm crazy anyway.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I know, right? Lots of foodies.
Oh,
Lots
yeah.
of foodies.
All right.
Bev says food no.
Okay.
So food no. So only Carnival, Carol's eaten on both.
Okay.
Irene just Carnival.
Okay.
Mama Tall Man, several cruise lines, right? Tablecloths. Yeah, Carnival doesn't have tablecloths. Food, yes. Carol, yes. Yes, on Celebrity. Ooh, and Sitmar. We've never been on Sitmar. There's
No,
one.
we haven't.
Jared says, I've had food on Royal Caribbean Allure of the Seas. My cruise in December is my first time on Carnival. Okay, awesome.
Nice.
MDR, yes, much better in the past. Yes. I never saw fried chicken, turkey, or even pasta years ago. Okay.
Right.
Only Carnival, Elaine says.
Okay.
Anyway, so this particular news, I found this interesting. There was somebody that was complaining about the food on Carnival, that it has really gone down.
Okay.
And into Macrina's comment, yeah, fried chicken, turkey, and pasta, right?
Yes.
That the quality of the food and the offerings used to be much higher. John Heald chimes into this particular situation because, of course, it was posted to John Heald. And his comment was, Carnival food was never 5-star quality and never meant to be 5-star quality. If you're looking for 5-star gourmet meals, you need to go on Seabourn, and he gave a list. And I was actually quite, I don't want to say shocked, but I thought it interesting to say that their food was never intended to be 5-star quality. Now, maybe it was intended to be 4-star. He didn't say that.
Right.
But never intended to be gourmet 5-star food. Now, I suppose I can agree to him because I don't think it would be 5-star gourmet food. But
it was definitely way better, though.
it was way better than it is now.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly, leads me into the next story, which is oddly sort of the same thing about Carnival and food, but we've talked about this a lot. How many of you pre-pandemic remember going on a Carnival cruise, when you sit down at dinner, there's a nice basket of fresh baked bread, rolls,
Yes.
whatever, on the table.
Yes.
And who has sailed post-pandemic, seeing that those baskets of bread have mysteriously disappeared.
Yes, they have.
Yes, they have. They no longer put them there. And in a lot of cases, we have found that unless you ask, it's not even offered.
Correct.
Now, according to this story, it is supposed to be given on all cruises.
Okay.
Not the basket, but your waiter will come around and plop one roll on your little bread dish and go away.
Okay.
And so this particular story, again, it's more about a complaint, is that, where's the bread baskets and why is there not more bread and this, that, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. In the reality, according to John Heald, bread's unlimited. Ask and you shall receive. Just like we were talking about in the other news piece. If you ask, you will get results with certain things, right? If you say nothing and wait to the end of the cruise and moan and groan on social media after you've gotten on the ship, they can't do anything about it.
That is very true.
In this case with the bread's unlimited. Have as much as you want. But that just means each time the waiter comes close to your table, you got to flag them down and say, hey, can we get some more bread? And if you do that enough times, my guess is they may actually plop a basket down there. Or if you sit down and say, hey, we like a lot of bread with our meals, could you please put a basket here? My guess is they would do that.
Interesting.
So bread is unlimited. You just have to ask for it. So yeah, we've talked about that before, about the absent.
Yeah,
Because
we have.
we love bread and butter with our dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
And normally we'll have probably 2 rolls apiece during dinner. And I have just found it, because the waiters, they're already running around with their heads cut off.
They are.
To have to make separate trips for the bread, it's just, So a lot of times we'll just have our one roll that we will have to ask for.
Yes.
We do ask for the one roll.
Yes.
But after that, we're like, we're fine. It's okay. Sometimes it's happened once or twice. They would ask, would you like another piece of bread? And oh, yes, thank you. But generally that doesn't happen. So, okay, moving on.
Okay.
So, those Princess cruise fans out there who are sailing on the Sky Princess and sailing with little ones, there's a play area up on the upper decks that have like little things for the kids to crawl on. It's just a tiny little play area that's outside the kids' area.
Okay.
That has been, at least at this moment, permanently closed.
Oh.
Now, the reason is because just on the other side of the the fence, the wall, the barricade, whatever you want to call it. For those who've been on cruise, you know what I'm talking about. There's always some sort of something that separates the kids' areas from the public spaces for their safety, of course. But just on the other side of that is a smoking area.
Oh my. Okay.
And they have closed it for the health risks
Of
for
the kids.
the kids.
Interesting.
Now, what I could not ascertain was, has the smoking area always been there, or has it recently moved because others were complaining about where it used to be?
Interesting.
These days, I feel that smokers on ships have been discriminated against to begin with. Like, for instance, on the Aqua, there was, unless you were inside gambling, you had no place to sit.
Yeah.
They had a
agreed.
tiny little smoking area outside with no seats. Outside the casino inside. And on many ships, those areas are getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yes.
We point them out in our videos, which is why I know these things. I'm looking around. MSC is one who does not. They have
Correct.
a plethora of smoking areas.
Yes.
And I understand, those who don't want to smell smoke, I get that. But there should be something provided for those people.
Yeah, and we've been on, inaugurals before where they've been walking around trying to figure out where to put the smoking section, and it's been relocated.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's entirely
We're
possible.
walking. I'm like, wasn't it over there the other day?
Yes.
with a camera, and like, now it's back there. But
Yes.
so I don't know if the smoking area was always there or been recently moved, but they have closed it, and much to the dismay of this particular family who was on there with their little ones, that the little ones didn't have the place to play.
Yeah, it would seem to me that it would have been better to relocate the smoking section.
I
don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that ship, but
it's hard to say.
yeah.
It's hard to say.
Interesting.
In the end, though, Princess is family friendly. It's not like Carnival or Royal, I would say, or even NCL or MSC. Princess is typically for an older crowd. Typically, I don't mean older as in, what's the phrase? Newlyweds or nearly deads? Not the nearly deads, but typically a lot of their cruises are longer,
yes.
and you're getting let's just say an older crowd. And in fact, when we used to be agents, we're no longer travel agents, but years ago we had an agency. This was one of the things we learned. And when you're talking to family, yeah, it's me and, myself, my wife, and several kids, and we're looking for lots of kids' activities, this, that, or whatever. We're never going to mention Princess. It's going to be Carnival, Royal, or NCL. Those would be the three at the time.
Yes.
Right? So the fact that this younger family with kids, though it's family friendly, it really is catered more to adults. Now, interestingly enough, I went and looked at the Skies itinerary for that's up there offered for the next couple of years. Most of them are much longer cruises. Most of them are overseas. There's only a little bit of time it's spending here in the United States.
Okay.
Mostly it's overseas.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so I just found that interesting too.
Yeah.
Let's catch up with a couple of comments and then we'll make the
Alright.
push to the end. We're getting close to the end. Getting close to the end. Timer ended, it said. Really? Aw. Okay, so how is that? Okay, so let's do it again. Let's do it again.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
Here we go.
I'm in the dark.
We're going to do it for an hour.
I'm in the dark and getting really scared.
Forgive my spelling. Hey, there's an I in there.
Is this going to be like Novate?
No. Okay, there we go. Goal created. Let's see what happens. I don't know, y'all. I'm just having some fun with everybody. Okay, there we go. All right. So back to the comments. Timer's in. Sitmar was taken over by Princess years ago. Okay, so it was a long time ago.
Oh,
okay.
wow,
That's why I
okay.
was like, I remember tablecloths, baskets of breads, and baked Alaska, right?
Yes.
And years ago, the flaming baked Alaska.
Yes,
truly.
they would literally carry it out on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A formal meal, and I would say 3-star. Yeah, I would go as much as 4. I mean, it was, who knows? I
Yeah,
don't know.
3.5, 4. Yeah.
I'm not a foodie that way.
Yeah.
I just discussed this with my son this week on how Carnival is drilling certain benefits. Juice, bread, mints, or pillows, blah, blah, blah. Me, I do not like those things, yes, but if it keeps my price lower, no problem. Understand? Yep. Exactly. Macrina, Bev, or Irene also agrees with Bev. Elaine says on Carnival 2 years ago, they gave us bread bowls for our group of 15. Last year, they took our bread plate after our second roll.
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness. So, wow.
Speaking of which, and this isn't, I think, in the news. Well, you know, it is, and I haven't gotten to it yet. So let's get back to the news. We're coming to the end here. We got another 8 or 10 stories, so let's get to it. Guys, for those who are new to cruising, when your ship is scheduled to leave, if you're not on it, it's going to leave.
Yes.
They may give you 20, 30 minutes leeway, right? Especially if you're out on your own. If you're not on a cruise line sponsored tour that ran late for a certain reason and they know it, they're going to wait for those people. But if you're on your own running around and you're late coming back to the ship is going to be gone.
Yes.
So this particular person, another TikToker, I don't know what their cruise history is, but they were on a Royal Caribbean ship over in Asia. They were in Vietnam. They were in port for 13 hours in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
13 hours.
That's a long time.
Right?
Yeah.
We've never been in a port more than 12 hours.
I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah.
13 hours. Now, they wanted to go into town, into Ho Chi Minh. That was an hour and a half drive one way. So you figure at least an hour and a half back. So there's 3 hours of your 13.
Yeah.
So you got
10
hours.
Yeah.
So this person was going on about they pushed the limit. And it actually didn't take an hour and a half to get back. There was traffic. So it took them around 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer, to get back to the ship. And they were stressed out about missing the ship. Now, in the end, they did not miss their ship.
Okay.
So the point that I brought this up is there's a lot of new cruises into the industry, and a lot of them do watch this channel. Welcome. Guys, leave yourself a 2-hour window. Not an hour. Leave yourself a 2-hour window if you're going to be traveling that far away from the ship.
Yes.
Especially if you're doing it on your own.
Yes.
Now, I know in some ports it will limit you, but trust me, the not having that stress build up, you're on vacation. You're not supposed to be stressed. You're supposed to relax and have a fantastic time. And if you're always doing this because you're pushing it to the limit, it really is going to impact your fun. So leave yourself some leeway, because traffic, accidents, flat tires, I mean, things are going to happen. And if you don't have that time, that
cushion.
buffer,
Yeah.
you may get back and find the ship gone.
Yeah. You wouldn't be the first.
And if you didn't bring your passport with you, you're even deeper trouble.
Yes.
So I
My
just
goodness.
found that interesting. So more violence. A Royal Caribbean guest was arrested after getting off the Liberty of the Seas recently.
Oh, no.
Yep. Another one of these. There's a little bit of gray area, but ultimately a gentleman was accosted in an elevator. Beat the crap out. He blacked out.
Oh, no.
When he came through, he had multiple injuries.
Oh, no.
And this gentleman was arrested for it upon returning back to port. And so I'm quite sure they'll deal with it appropriately. No more details have been given, no further statements, so we don't know if he's been banned, but he was arrested and carted off to jail.
Oh, my.
So, yep, that happened on the Liberty of the Seas just a few days ago. Holland America just recently unveiled 2 new grand voyages for 2027. One is a 70-day and one is 124 days.
Wow.
So if you are into these super, super incredibly long voyages, the 124-day one is circumnavigating the entire planet.
Oh, wow.
They have announced their new itineraries. And it's on 2 different ships. They both will depart from Fort Lauderdale and return to Fort Lauderdale. So
wow.
I'm not going to get into the particular details of those, but go check those out. They are now for sale.
Wow.
There's a cruise line out there. I don't know how many of you know. It's called National Geographic. These are explorer-type vessels. But one of their crew had to be lifted off just outside of Oregon a few days ago. Actually, I think it was Easter Sunday.
Oh, no.
They were close enough that the Coast Guard was able to fly in with a helicopter and get him off. There was no information about his condition, what caused it, and or now. But ultimately, the Coast Guard was called in. They deemed it necessary to remove him from the vessel to seek medical attention. And so we're praying for this young man that he is okay. He's 30 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, no information further. Holland America, speaking of Holland America, the Ooster Dam has just come out of dry dock with a lot of new improvements. One of the most notable to me, and I don't know why, it's just a number. It's received just a little over 215,000 square feet of new carpet.
Wow.
I mean, a ship is huge, so I don't know how many square feet and what that does cover, but there's been a lot of improvements. The spa has been completely updated, the thermal spa, some new arrangements in there, some additional manicure, pedicure stations, all kinds of things.
Nice.
Not their... let me. The Rolling Stone Lounge, which is one of their big lounges there, it's been sort of upgraded with some new lighting, new furniture and things.
Very nice.
Yep, the Lido has gotten some new tiles, new upholstery, new countertops. Let's see, the Crow's Nest has had some stuff done to it, the game room, all kinds of things.
Nice.
What I found most interesting is it's written, some lucky guests will benefit from upgrades done to staterooms. The word some is curious to me because that means they haven't done something to all the staterooms,
right,
but only some of the staterooms. And which ones have been improved have not been mentioned.
Interesting. So that literally could be 2 staterooms. That's some staterooms.
It literally could be. I'm sure it's more than that, but literally could be 2.
It has to be 2, yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah,
because usually they'll say like 50 staterooms
yes,
or 100 and
yeah,
whatever.
Some.
Interesting.
The Neptune Lounge has also seen a lot of upgrades as well. So there you go for those who are going on the Ooster Dam.
215,000
square feet of new carpet.
Wow.
Yep. So here's another Carnival story and another thing from John Heald. He is pleading for people to adhere to the "do not go to your stateroom" signs. I find this a very important statement in how it was written. Okay, for those who have ever been on any cruise before, not just Carnival, when you get on the ship, 95% of the time you are not allowed to go to your cabin until a certain time. 1, 2, 1:30, 3:30, whatever the time is.
Yeah.
The reason is because the cabin stewards are in there cleaning.
Yes.
Now, certain cruise lines, Carnival being one of them, that if you have reached a certain level of status, because you cruise with them a lot, there is a perk in their loyalty programs that allow you to go to your stateroom to drop off your luggage and then immediately leave.
Yes.
Again, drop off the luggage, then immediately leave. Can't stay in there. Okay? Well, the problem is, there's like all the other cruise line rules, nobody is enforcing it. Now, of course, it would take somebody to enforce it, which means staff is going to be taken from other things to stand at all the doorways to block people from going in.
Right.
Unless you're, at least in Carnival Platinum or Diamond, or you bought faster to the fun, or you're in a suite. Those are the people that can go to their cabins. But he's pleading for people to obey this sign because people are taking advantage of it. And so we've seen it too. We've been back there taking our luggage because we are Platinums on Carnival, so we have that perk to go there and drop off our luggage. And we'll see dozens of people walking around.
Yeah.
A lot more to go, are they actually? Anyway, so, but the reason why I found this interesting is he also mentioned in the same post that Carnival is going through what he listed as a major overhaul of their loyalty program. Now, that major overhaul is going to be announced this summer. No details have been given, but but it's going to be announced this summer, and will take effect beginning of 2026.
Interesting.
And the fact that he's mentioning this to me says this perk is on the chopping block.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
And
it certainly does.
So for those who are not obeying, they could probably care less anyway because they're breaking the rules already, right? So for those who have earned that right, again, we've cruised on Carnival a lot. You know, this perk and the 2 bags of free laundry, those are the only 2 perks we really enjoy. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to seeing what the major overhaul includes, but the fact that he brought this up says this one's on the chopping block, and that's going to be very frustrating to us. We don't want that. And look, I know we've had to carry our luggage around before we became Platinums. We adhered to the rules. We never went back there because you're not supposed to. We follow the rules, right? If you're supposed to go in the restaurant without a hat, I don't wear a hat in the restroom. Supposed to have a restroom. Can't wear a hat in a restroom. In the main dining room, right? Supposed to have a collared shirt on. I wear a collared shirt. When the dining rules were a little more stringent and buttoned down, whatever, we adhere to the rules. And so
evening gowns and tuxes.
Yeah, for formal night. Not that was required, but we used to.
We
do that,
did, yeah.
Right, but we're the ones that adhere to the rules. So the ones that we're not muted. I'm looking at it. We are not muted. So if you lost sound, reboot your system. We're not muted, guys. I'm sorry. We're looking at the bar. We're not muted. So I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I'm getting texts from all you guys. I don't know what to tell you. Irene hears them. You need to reboot your systems, guys.
Irene
hears us. So this does happen sometimes with live streams. Mm-hmm. So just refresh, and you'll be okay. Here, we are not muted. Refresh your screen. There you go. All right. Trust me, we tested this. I locked all my windows. Alyssa says it's happened twice to me. Just refresh and it comes right back. Thank you. So,
thank you.
Anyway, yeah, Carnival maybe having their perk of being able to drop off your luggage on the chopping block. We'll see.
Oh my.
Okay. Speaking of Carnival, actually no, this was this Carnival or Royal Caribbean? There's a lot of Carnival news this week. Yeah, it was Carnival. So this particular gentleman was on there for a wedding and had his tux and the whole 9 yards and was dressed up, but got a stain on there.
Oh no!
And sent his suit for dry cleaning.
Okay.
And it came back ruined. Mm. Now the reason why it came back ruined was it was not dry cleaned. Mm. It was put through the normal wash and dry.
Oh no!
To make things further or worse, that particular ship doesn't actually offer dry cleaning because they don't have dry cleaning facilities.
Oh no.
Not all ships have dry cleaning facilities. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Maya. I don't know. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I apologize. I'll Maya. I don't know. Welcome, everybody.
Yay, welcome. And we apologize for butchering your name.
So
we're quite good at that.
So there was a series of mistakes.
Yes.
So
it certainly sounds like it.
I believe the gentleman in question with the suit ruined left it out, filled out the form. Of course, the forms are printed in the millions and they go to all the ships. Some ships do have dry cleaning. So he filled out the dry cleaning part of it, left the suit out for the cabin steward. So I believe there was no conversation with the cabin steward.
Gotcha.
Now, the cabin steward took it as opposed to leaving it, finding the gentleman, leaving a note or something saying, "I'm sorry, sir, we do not have dry clean facilities."
Right.
Instead, he took it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's now just going to be washed and it's ruined.
Oh,
it's shrunk up and the stain's
I'm
gone.
sure.
But now it doesn't fit.
Oh, no.
So a series of things here. So, guys, for those who need to have dry cleaning, and this goes for any ship, please make sure you have a conversation, one, with your cabin steward. if for any kind of reason you believe the information is not correct, call customer service.
Yeah.
Or go down there, whichever you prefer, and just say, hi, I need to have an item dry cleaned. Do you have dry cleaning services on this ship? Okay. Which, to be honest, that would be my first call before I talk to my cabin steward.
Yeah.
Because cabin steward could have just gotten on that ship that day and come from a different ship.
Yes.
And say yes, even though they don't.
Yes.
Right? So I would always call customer service first. All right? So that way there you can save. The outcome of that story, I have no idea if he's been compensated or whatever. So.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
I know. Moving on.
Okay.
God, that window just keeps on popping up and I don't know why.
I don't know.
So we were talking about electrical items on ships, things with elements and stuff.
Yes.
Again, this goes back to looking at what is prohibited and or not prohibited for you to bring on a cruise.
Yes.
This particular customer is about to go on an Alaska cruise.
Okay.
And like you, is always cold.
Wants a heating blanket.
Wants to bring their heating blanket.
I knew it. As soon as she said, always cold.
Always cold. This one has her heating blanket on if it's 1 degree below 78. Not kidding. Maybe 76, but thereabouts.
75.
And was a little dismayed that she could not bring her heating blanket.
Yes.
Okay. So guys, heating blankets are not allowed.
No.
Right. Now, this being said, ask and you shall receive. If you want an extra blanket, another duvet, extra sheets, whatever it is, ask your cabin steward. If you are a person who is cold and need, especially going to Alaska.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be going to Alaska next year in May. It's going to be cold.
Yes.
So we're going to need extra blankets.
Yes. I am going to ask for certain.
We're going to have to make sure they're just on her side of the bed. 'Cause I'll be sweating. So, yes, heating blankets are not allowed on any cruise ship. It's just, I mean, it's a Carnival store, but it's not about Carnival. It's an industry thing. You cannot bring heating blankets onto the ship.
Correct.
It is unfortunately a fire hazard.
Oh, no.
So there you go. All right. Recently on a Disney cruise, somebody had their luggage, quote unquote, stolen. It wasn't stolen. It was one of those, somebody grabbed the wrong piece.
Gotcha.
This happens in the airlines all the time.
Yes.
So guys who are cruising, put something special in your luggage that it's yours, but please pay attention and double check. If you've got the standard, black rolling luggage, there's probably 27 other pieces that look exactly like yours. Make sure you grab your own luggage.
Yes.
One, obviously if you get home and it's not yours, you're going to be shocked because there might be something in your luggage that you don't want to lose, and vice versa for the person who got your luggage, the same thing. So it's just a thing that happens in the industry. But note, if you're leaving your luggage out at night, it's going to be in the terminal, and it's going to be with 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 pieces of other people's luggage. And if you've got the standard looking whatever, just make sure, we tag ours differently so that we know that it's ours, but ours are duffels. We don't see anybody carrying these kind of duffels. So
no,
we've never, ever, anywhere we've ever been, seen any luggage that looks like ours.
No, we haven't.
So we've never had any problems. The final stretch. P&O has canceled a cruise.
Oh.
But unfortunately, like the day before the sailing. This happened last week. And in fact, what was really troubling is they canceled the cruise on Easter Sunday.
Oh.
It was supposed to embark the next day. This was on the P&O Aurora.
Oh, no.
It was in dry dock, and there was an issue, delay, some kind of issue with their dry dock process that it was unable to finish in enough time.
Oh, man.
But they canceled it on Easter Sunday. So this creates all kinds of problems. One, it's a holiday. The call centers are closed. And so people had a hard time dealing with the problem on top of there being a problem.
Right.
So I know that created a lot of havoc for those on this particular ship. Again, the P&O Aurora. But yeah, that's a rough one.
That was tough timing.
Yes.
I mean, it's never good, but
No.
yeah, that's particularly frustrating.
No. By the way, norovirus just doesn't happen on Carnival and Royal and whatever. It happens on luxury cruise ships too. The Viking Polaris has just reported an outbreak on one of their cruises that just ended a few days ago. Now, so it's a small ship. So the numbers are different.
Gotcha.
But the CDC requires, I think it's if more than 4%, it's either 4 or 5% of people contract the norovirus, you must report it.
Yes.
In this case, 8% of the passengers, which was actually 28 passengers.
Oh, wow.
So small number, but when you're only talking about 355 guests, that's actually a huge number.
It is.
So 28 people, or 8% of the passengers on the Viking Polaris, had come down with norovirus, and 4 of the crew members as well. So
washy.
No washy, no yummy. Gosh, how many times we got to talk about that? I think we're just going to add it to the bottom of the screen.
Right.
That just goes by. Wash your hands. 2 stories left, everybody.
All right.
Royal Caribbean. This is a good one. I've not read this before.
Okay.
I know it's happened, I think, once before, maybe twice before in the past, but before we were really paying this close to the news.
Okay.
So on a recent sailing of the Allure of the Seas on the 24th, I'm assuming the cruise was oversold.
Oh.
However, when I was reading the article, it said something about not being oversold. So I'm a little confused of the story. But in the end, Royal Caribbean was offering for those who could cancel their cruise. And this was sent a few days out. It wasn't like last minute, so maybe a week or ahead of time.
Okay.
If you could change your plans and not take this cruise, you would get a full refund of your cruise.
Okay.
And a future cruise credit. Right? Free.
Nice.
100% future cruise credit.
Okay.
So, in fact, I'm just going to try to paraphrase some of this here. The options include a transfer to a different sailing, downgrading your cabin, or canceling altogether in exchange for a full refund or a future cruise credit. So let's see what the options are. If your plans are set in stone, this was from Royal, mark this email as read, and gear up for your cruise. Although there are some pretty sweet options below. For anyone interested in transferring to either another 7-night option on this ship, or there was one other ship too, guests will receive a 100% refund of the original cruise fare and enjoy the later sailing for free. In other words, you're going to get your money back from the 24th, and if you were going to choose one of the 2 sailings they offered, the 18th or May 18th or May 29th, you're going to get to go on that one for free.
Nice.
So you get your refund and then get on the next one for free.
Very nice.
Okay? The options also extended. Royal Caribbean is also providing a free cancellation to anyone who feels like taking the offer and skipping. Okay. If they do, they will receive a full future cruise credit of 100% and a full refund of the missed getaway. And we'll also remind you of the non-refundable purchase. They're also covering travel expenses.
Nice.
Your hotel and your flight. When I first was reading the story, I thought they got to move, they got a refund, and the future cruise credit. So it's essentially they're getting 2 free cruises. They got their money back on the 24th, April 24th.
Okay.
They got to move that cruise to another cruise, either the 18th of May or the 29th of May, and that one would be free.
Yes.
And they get 100% future cruise credit.
Wow.
For another cruise.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Now, if that isn't enough, you could take a downgrade.
Okay.
The downgrade was for those who were in balcony cabins. If you would agree to move from your balcony to an inside cabin, it's the same offer. You go on the same cruise. You're not missing the cruise now.
Okay.
So you're on the cruise on April 24th. You're already on it right now. Okay. But they would refund the entire amount of the cruise that you paid and give you a 100% future cruise credit.
Wow.
So still, you get to cruise twice for free.
Wow.
That would be if you took the downgrade from the balcony to
an inside
cabin.
Wow.
How's that for like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of like the equivalent of an airline, a flight.
Yes.
Being oversold.
Yes.
I mean, how many times have you heard, hey, if you're not in a hurry to get, if you're willing to give up your seat, we're going to give you $500 and a free upgrade on your next flight or whatever it is.
I've heard that several times.
Yeah, they try to make it worth your while.
Yeah. Wow.
So that.
Go Royal.
Go Royal, right?
Yeah.
And last but not least, the last story, unfortunately, to me is, I don't want to call it the saddest story, but it's unnerving to me. The crime stats for the first quarter on the cruise lines have been put out. I'm not going to go into the details of the different crimes, but Carnival has had, these are, by the way, alleged, right? This is straight off the FBI's website, by the way.
Okay.
Carnival has had 12 crimes committed, Royal 9, Disney 6, again, alleged, right? Princess 6, NCL and MSC both 5, Celebrity 3, and Virgin 2. Now, these crimes do range from assault and battery, theft, assault, rape, sexual assault. So
Wow.
and unexplained deaths. So it's a variety of things.
Wow.
But just know those statistics are now out. So
Okay.
there you go. There is your news for week ending April 27th, 2025. Tall man style.
Filming Tom and Style.
Well, there you go, everybody. And again, thank you, everybody, for the thumbs up.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
There we go. All right, so let's catch up with some of the comments and
All right.
see what everybody's doing. Hopefully, everybody loves a little balcony cam there.
Heck yeah.
I saw Danny Mac pop in.
Oh, I did too. Yes.
McCurna's like, sorry, guys, my earbud dropped out. See?
No,
Hello,
that's funny.
Hello, Norris Terra. Welcome. Danny's like, sorry, boss, I'm late. Aw, my dog died. Oh, here you got me, you bugger.
Oh.
My dog died. My car broke down. I got the plague.
He's singing us a country song.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, none of that's true. Sorry. Did the dog eat your homework? Patricia's like, I like the cold. I don't like the cold, but I don't mind being cool at night or comfortable, right? I don't want to be hot or, I want to be comfortable.
Oh, I've got the blankets up to here.
I know. Danny's like, I don't know. Irene says, Alaska cruise. Someone picked up my carry-on, but put it down somewhere else. I had to pay $94 for them to ship. Wow. So they took it. They at least
Realized
left
it and left it.
but didn't bring it back. They just left it, and Irene
good.
had to pay $94 to have them shipped back. It's such a gray area. We talked about this with the fight. Okay, once you're off the ship, you're no longer necessarily on cruise lines time or dime or whatever you want to call it. You're in a terminal, which is, some of them are leased by the cruise lines, most of them, but they're run and operated by third party.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And they're under the jurisdiction of Homeland Security and stuff like that. So if a bag is taken, is it the cruise line's fault? Should they have, what I'm trying to get at is, should they have sent it to you for free? I would have said yes.
I would have thought so.
But, how many times a cruise do you think this happens?
Oh, I'm sure it happens frequently.
And
Probably not.
or they could.
Oh,
Excuse
I'm
me,
sorry
everybody.
That happened
but
to you, Irene.
the cost of cruises would go up to
Yeah.
cover that kind of a thing.
That is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
Maureen says, what do you guys do to stay healthy? Ooh, when we're on ships, lots of hand washing.
Washy.
Lots of hand washing.
Yep.
Yeah, Maureen then says, I guess washy. Yeah. I have never gotten sick on a ship from ship stuff. I did get sick on a ship once. It was a upper respiratory infection. It wasn't from the ship. I happened to get on probably already with it, and 2 days after I got on, it was full blown. I had to go down to the this was years and years ago, long before this channel. Had to go down to the doctor, the medical center there, and get some antibiotics. So, and that was that. But outside of that, I've not gotten sick on a ship. Lisa hasn't felt good a couple times on a ship.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that it
wasn't
was norovirus.
just
It's just some.
Yeah.
Yeah. some bug.
Yeah.
But
Generally, just washy all the time.
yeah, if I'm feeling when you're not feeling your best, if I'm not feeling my best, then we have doTERRA essential oils, and we do diffuse. So we use there's one called On Guard.
But we don't always bring the diffuser with us, but we bring the stuff with us.
But I do bring the pills and the oils and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So we have that. It just builds your immune system, your immunity. So we'll do that.
Yeah.
If we're not feeling 100%. But other than that, yeah, it's just basically washy.
Yeah. A lot
Do
of
a
it.
lot of that.
A lot more than you would think.
Yeah.
Lisa's always washing her hands to begin with, but on ships, anytime she touches them.
Alyssa's always called me a germaphobe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do wash my hands a lot.
A lot of it does come from the buffet area, so you can stay away from the buffet. We don't. We wash our hands before we go in. Macrina will tell you she washes her hands before she goes in. She goes and she gets all her food, whatever, puts the food down on her table, then goes wash her hands again
Before she eats.
Because for those who aren't washing their hands and they're touching the utensils that you get the food out of the buffet, you now touch it, your hand is contaminated. So Macrina will then go wash her hands again before she eats. Right?
Yes.
So great practice, right? And this is how it spread. But also think about it. You're touching the buttons, for the elevator. You're grabbing handrails as you're walking around the ship. Wash your hands. And look, you don't have to go running to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
No.
But be mindful. And this is the biggest thing to be mindful about. And it's hard. But don't touch your face.
Yeah.
This is how it happens. You've touched something, and then you do this, I mean, whatever. We're constantly touching our face. Like me, you'll see me. I'm constantly doing this with my glasses or whatever. Don't touch your face until you wash your hands.
Yeah.
They're small things, but that's really the biggest thing.
That is the hardest one for me to remember.
Pre-cruise, woohoo. Irene's like, I'd go.
Yeah.
Inside, no problem. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Same.
The only time I would not do that, Alaska.
Yeah.
I want that balcony for Alaska.
That is very true.
And Bev's like, I'll take the inside as long as it's not in Alaska. Right? Inside, it went solo, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tall news. Ha ha ha. Alyssa's like, I do it too now, LOL. I always have, for the record, now just more than knuckle the elevator buttons. There's a good idea. Right?
Well, I do that too, but then I turn around and do this with my knuckle that I just touched the elevator button with. So yeah, that's the hard one for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So there it is. So we're not going to tell you, but who was it? Our new subscriber.
Yes, early on.
Yeah, Jared was asking. What was it? No, it was Alex.
Alex
was asking everybody's next cruise.
Yes.
And so I can tell you, it's not 194 days.
No,
it's not that, but it's coming up pretty quick.
It is.
Speaking of that, we've got a group cruise coming up. Who wants to go on the group cruise?
Me. Come join us November 8th, 2025.
There'll be meet and greets,
Parties,
pineapples,
ducks, and of course the live shows.
Don't miss our first ever group cruise. We'll see you on the horizon. All right, there it is. If you didn't get that email, There it is as well. tallmanscruiseadventures@gmail.com. As we mentioned a little bit while ago, we are not travel agents, so we did not book this group cruise to make bookings off you guys. But we do have an agent that put it together for us, somebody we've used for 15, 20 years, a long time. So if you want to go on the group cruise, you must book into the group. Again, send me an email. I will forward you Kathy's information. She will book you into the group. We'd love to have you all there. As you saw, it is November 8th. We are doing a southern itinerary. We're going to Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. For those who are already in the group, I promise this week, tomorrow, I will call the tour operator and get the specifics. We are going to do one group excursion in Bonaire. And I've set that up with a group already, but I got to get the specifics and how everybody pays and all that stuff. So if just send me an email entitled, I want to go on the group, and we'll get you all taken care of.
The group tour.
The group, well, not the group tour, for those wanting to go on the group cruise.
Okay, gotcha.
Once on our Facebook page, I'll be posting the information on our Facebook page. We have a specific area in there for those going on the group. I will put it in there. So anyway, but that's neither here nor there for now.
Very nice.
I missed a couple of comments. I'm going back. We were talking about Baked Alaska, and Alyssa says they actually did that on their last night, the flaming parade of Baked Alaska.
Wow.
Now, I will say this. We haven't stood around for Showtime or stayed around for Showtime in a while, but we have seen it many times.
We have.
And
it's been years
since we've seen that. Has anybody else still seen the flaming Baked Alaska on the last night? I have not.
That surprises me.
She was also commenting about the ship waiting around. She said, we watched pier runners that made it after they had already pulled in the gangway. Our ship waited a whole hour, and somehow they still got lucky enough to make it even after all the gangways were in.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. So if the gangways were in, that means
they were ready to go.
Yeah, they weren't on a Carnival sponsored tour.
Correct.
They just got lucky.
They really did. I have never seen a ship let the gangway back out to let late passengers on.
No, typically
I've never seen
that gangway comes in as the ropes are getting taken off.
Yes.
I mean,
it's pretty cool.
A fairly quick thing. Yeah.
Wow. They really did get lucky.
Macrina also says, if I was rich, I would love a round the world cruise. Me too.
Yes.
Go live on a ship full time.
Absolutely.
I would love to be able to book segments of those cruises so you could do them over the course of a few years.
I think
you are allowed to do that.
Yeah, I believe you can do that.
Alex says, I personally like MSC. I was able to get my card and dropped off my luggage in the room. Virgin cabins were ready when I got on the ship. Yep, there you go.
Yes.
That's why, because we got into the whole muted thing.
Virgin usually has very late boarding times to begin with.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, the rooms are usually cleaned by the time you're able to get onto the ship on Virgin.
Yes. I'm just scrolling back now that I've covered the missed ones.
Okay. Are we all caught up now?
Yes. Group cruise. Danny takes hand sanitizer bottle in his pocket to take care of the handrails until the sink is accessible.
Nice.
Which is always an option. She always has hand sanitizer too, usually.
So.
Went shopping this week for group cruise clothing. Awesome. With Bev. Excellent. Yes, sometimes Carnival does the Flaming Alaska at times. Yeah, we just have not been lucky to be on one of those ships.
No, but I wonder if it's a main dining thing because we've had the anytime dining so much recently.
Maybe.
I wonder if that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe we just miss it.
Yeah. Alyssa was correct. It was only 2 people.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen them let the gangway back out. They really did get lucky.
Chris is sometimes that should be standard, Macrina. I mean, I would agree. You either do it or you don't do it.
I would think so too, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a safety thing because it's been
the
so
flame,
long since we've
open
seen
flame.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which I was surprised which show was that? It was on the Aqua, where they had the magician with flaming stuff.
Yes.
Now they were
in the theater.
They were real quick. Everybody, the cast snuffed out the things that he had that were flaming,
They did.
real fast when he was done with them. But he was doing this thing, and the flames were going pretty high.
I was surprised, really, that they did have the open flames.
Yeah. Yep. But anyway, Alyssa says, yeah, they had called their name 3 times over the intercom. I even took a video from our deck window. I forgot to show it to you. Oh, don't worry about it. I've seen the Baked Alaska Parade the last 3 times on the Jubilee.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man.
We're missing out.
We are missing out.
Yeah.
Well, like I said,
It's got to be because we're doing the anytime dining.
maybe, or again, we are out of the dining room a lot of times before they do showtime.
Yeah.
We typically are at a table for 2. Remember, we stream live every night on the ships, and to get ready for the stream, we've got to be in and out of the dining room fairly quickly because it does take a while to prepare everything to be ready. And so most nights we are out of there before showtime starts.
Yeah.
And so maybe they've just brought it back.
Yeah, I guess
and we
so.
just have missed it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that they're doing that again. That was always a special thing.
I am too.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm not going to have to do my funny thing. We're not reaching our goal. Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well. It's fine with me. Nobody wants to see that, I promise you. Did is that up there?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm just looking. Goal ends in, but it doesn't say.
Interesting.
2 minutes? Boy, has it been an hour since I put that up there?
Wow.
Wow. Anyway. Macrina says, sometimes I'm not paying attention at dessert time. Oh, yeah, but you can't miss that. I mean, that's an event.
It
The
is.
flaming
The whole parade.
Baked Alaska Parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
I
they're
love
doing
that.
it, you're not going to miss it.
No.
If you're in the restaurant, you're not going to miss it.
No, because it's always part of the showtime.
Yeah.
Right? They bring it out towards the end because the last night's special, and sometimes the chefs will come out and as well, and thank yous and this, that, and whatever. And
Yeah.
so
It's always a nice thing to see.
yeah, absolutely. Again, by the way, thank you for everybody who has given us the thumbs up. We appreciate
Yes,
each and
thank
every
you.
one of you. There you get an applause from us.
Ah, and another one. Thank you.
That was me.
Oh, that was you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I had it up live there.
Oh.
Yeah, if you're new to the channel, do us a huge favor. Consider subscribing and become part of the Tall Man Clan. It is free to you, costs you absolutely nothing, and it really does help out the channel. We would sincerely appreciate it.
Yes.
So there you have it. If you are just coming, we already did all the cruise news. You can scroll back and watch. We usually will get all of our content for the night done up front, and then we hang it around for a little chit-chat, Q&A, and whatever, whether we're on a ship or off the ship. So catch up with the Tall Man Clan. But we were talking about our next cruise because we were asking. I told you it's coming up quick. It is coming up quick. So won't be too long, and we'll have some good surprises for you.
Yes.
I think they're going to be good surprises.
I think they're going to be great surprises.
And yeah, I think so. So, who would like a good surprise? No, we're not giving away another ship. No, we're not. Oh, and I got the prices. I got to send those off to people.
Yeah.
So, ooh, yeah.
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 Tall Man was surprised. I was not. Tall Man
Yeah.
was surprised.
A little bit more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway. It says 16 minutes on my end. Interesting. What is up with that? I don't know. I don't know what I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm just playing with this new chat stuff. So anyway, whoa, wow. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm the Tall Man. This is my lovely wife, Lisa, a.k.a. Mrs. Tall Man. Not that anyone calls her as. We have been talking about the cruise news. We've been an hour and a half into the live stream here, so we obviously covered all the news already. If you were here to see the week wrap-up of news, just scroll the bar back. We covered that in the first hour of our stream. We talk about the news live and have engaged conversations with you while we do it. But we're already past all the news. We're just having a little cruise chit-chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Danny says, by the way, to help in my finding it since I was late, what number was the fight story? It was number 2 or 3, so, towards the beginning. I'll just recap the fight, actually. very simple. There was a huge brawl in the terminal in Galveston, Carnival's terminal. The Carnival Jubilee was in the process of their debarkation, and just a brawl. I mean,
In the luggage collection area.
yeah. So,
yeah.
the full number of people that were involved was not mentioned, but they did say they have now banned for life 24 people that were involved in this brawl. So I'm having to assume it was 30 plus people. So this
Yeah.
was not like two people fighting. It was a big kerfuffle.
Yeah.
And so this just happened a few days ago in the terminal there in Galveston. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a mess.
You guys got to play nice in the sandbox.
Yeah, I know.
Now they're 24 people permanently banned from Carnival.
Oh, Danny says my boss and his family were actually on the ship.
Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully they stayed away from all the hubbub.
Yeah, yeah. So
Man.
it was unclear what sparked that, but you know we talked about it in the news piece. You know, debarkation is stressful for a lot of people for many different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Some could be the amount of time it took to get off the ship. Some could just be because their vacation has ended. And, you know, tempers can be short. It seems tempers are short these days in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And even for those that, don't actually have their passport, you got to stand in line, which is usually a lot longer to go through with your driver's license and birth certificate.
yeah.
And that process takes a lot longer.
But
So
from the picture, though, that was posted as part of the news story, this wasn't...
even if
No, this literally
before-
was in the luggage area.
Wow.
So, yeah. So people were, who knows, fighting
Wow.
over their luggage. I mean, it looks like it's on the other side of the little half rail they have. You know, luggage is inside the little half rail. So I don't know if that was the line to go through customs. You know, it's unclear. There wasn't a lot of information other than it was a very, very large fight. There was many people involved, 24 of which have been banned for life
Wow.
from Carnival, at least. So
Right.
they'll move to Royal, they'll move to MSC, NCL, whatever it is, until they do it again and get banned from there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man.
Chris says, well, I don't know if they do, but I really wish all the lines would get together and have a universal ban for passengers who have misbehaved badly. I agree 100%.
I do too.
You're done from the industry.
Yeah.
Blacklist.
Yeah.
Period. Because, as I just mentioned, yep, they'll just go to a different line. They're going to take their ill-behaved manners to another cruise line, and eventually, if you did it once, you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't think, or at least they didn't talk about anybody being arrested. Incident occurred in the debarkation area under the authority of the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. The matter has been turned over to law enforcement. We will not tolerate such behavior, and 24 people have been placed on our do not sell list. They can go on another cruise line if they want, but are never welcome back with us. 24 guests can be seen hitting and punching at least 2 other guests. The brawl started in the luggage hall and quickly migrated towards the far side of the hall near the entrance to customs.
Wow.
Security persons did rushed in, but they had a hard time controlling it. There was at least one officer who was pushed, shoved, whatever. That's assault, period.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No identities have been released, nor have any reports of arrests or injuries been made public.
Wow.
So there's just not a lot of further information outside of, comments and things. But I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I don't feel I'm out of place in saying it either. But like Chris, one, they should be banned from all cruise lines, period. This behavior is just unacceptable. And 2, arrest them all. Arrest them all. If you don't, what message is that currently sending? They're breaking the law. It is assault and battery. At least these days, right? Back in the day in schoolyards, having a little fight, right? What's that going to get you? Detention. That's your arrest when you're in school. Of course, these days, there are no fist fights in schools. It's... Where did it go? Did I close the whole screen, Lisa?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not just a fist fight. They're bringing knives and guns.
Yes.
Right? So, but it's unfortunately, it's a crime. It's called assault and battery. Prosecute.
Yeah.
Prosecute. I just, I hate that, but they're breaking the law.
Yeah.
And for those who are involved in those things or on the side of the people that are fighting, I'm sorry. And that will probably give us thumbs down. They'll probably unsubscribe if they're part. We don't want you to do that. But the reality is, these fighting is against the law. Whether you're on a ship, in a terminal, or on the school grounds, or driving your car down the street and you have road rage, it's against the law. It just is. And typically, if you're not on a ship, if you're out in the public, and this happens, you get arrested.
Yeah.
The side note of that is the person, somebody has to press charges.
That I don't know.
Well, right. I mean,
I would think so.
If somebody comes up and slaps you,
Yeah.
or hits you, or kicks you, or beats you up, or whatever, and you're not willing, and the cops are called, and you're not willing to press charges, then that person's going to go free.
Yes.
And so in this case, the two individuals, how does this happen with a brawl?
Yeah.
Who's the victims and who's, I don't know. According to what they said, the video showed 24 people beating up on 2 people.
That's what it said, yeah.
So the 2 people, if they press charges, then those 24 people should be going to jail.
One would think.
But the question for me comes, if it happens on a ship, is the passenger or can the cruise line press charges? Right? I mean, we had another story on, I forget what ship it was, but a passenger literally beat up on this guy, beat him till he was unconscious. He got arrested, was carted off to jail when they got back to port. And so, was it because the passenger that was beat up was pressing charges? Again, they don't talk about these things. So,
No.
anyway. So, Patricia says, someone posted on Facebook that the fight started on the ship during the trip, and then it started up again after they got off. Well, it's interesting that no information was provided about that the fight started on the ship. If it had started on the ship, I promise you that video would have gotten out somewhere too.
One would think.
So maybe an argument started on the ship, or at least
Some tension.
whatever was fanning the flames.
Yeah.
Right? It started on the ship and they waited till they got off thinking they would be safe.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
Man.
Lisa and I talk about this all the time when it comes to fights and stuff and just different news in general, not just fights, but news in general. We take what we see posted on social media with an absolute grain of salt.
Yeah.
If I can't verify it with news, like for instance, the crime statistics, we saw that as a post. They had them all wrong. I never told you that.
No, you didn't.
But I had gone to the FBI's website to confirm the story because it was posted on social media. And yes, the information was there on the FBI site, but it was wrong. The one of the pictures, I think it had Virgin at like 9 instances.
Yeah.
They've only had
something
3.
Like that. Gotcha.
They transcribed it wrong or whatever. I don't know. But this happens all the time. So I believe nothing I see on Facebook that is written unless I can go to some newsworthy outlet and find or corroborate the information. But Irene says, absolutely. Danny, absolutely. Chris says, wouldn't it be great if they did a commercial, the president of each company, the big 3 at minimum, Carnival, Royal, NCL, and say no more? Patricia agrees with the thoughts.
Yeah, that would
Chris,
be good.
That would be absolutely monumental.
It would.
And absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
We as an industry will no longer tolerate this barbarian activity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If this is what you're going to do, you're going to have to find another way to vacation because it's not going to be on a cruise ship. Period.
I would love to see something like that.
I would love to see that as well.
Yeah.
Somebody reach out to the 3 major CEOs of the corporations and suggest that happens. Be groundbreaking.
That would be awesome.
Zero tolerance for, God, these windows just keep on
I
popping
know.
open
What
tonight.
is that?
I don't know. Zero tolerance for physical violence, and say unequivocally zero tolerance. Absolutely. And that to me has been one of the issues with cruise lines policies, that they're not zero tolerance, and it comes with a lot of things. With the pool towels, that's not zero tolerance. With dining room etiquette for dress, with fighting. Though these days, again, the guy that was arrested, I think it was a royal ship. It wasn't said if he's been banned for life, but he was arrested getting off the ship. I'm pretty sure he's probably been banned for life.
I would think so.
It does seem, at least independently, if something is happening on a cruise ship in regards to a fight, that these people are being banned. Not as an industry, but from an individual cruise line. For Carnival, what I don't know, and or Royal and or NCL, are they from all their lines? That like the Carnival Corporation owns, 8 or 9 cruise lines?
Yeah.
Are they banned from all of their cruise lines, or just the Carnival brand? Right? Yeah, you're banned from Carnival, but you can go on Princess. That's another one of our brands. I would hope it would be
all of Carnival.
corporation wide,
but I suspect it's not. I
Yeah.
suspect it's strictly Carnival Cruise Lines.
Chris says it would stop, I believe, but they should say it together. The big 3. Yeah, they should have a big news conference.
Yeah.
All 3 of them standing together. Call all the press.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking, right? Will it stop it altogether? Unfortunately, I don't believe so. Because respectfully, and I mean this with as much love as I possibly can, but some people just can't control themselves. Especially if alcohol is involved. Now, in this case, alcohol was not involved. It was first thing in the morning. Okay, maybe somebody was hungover, but they're hungover. But a lot of the fights are happening at night. They're happening in the clubs and this, that, or
Yes.
whatever. And alcohol plays a big part of that.
Yeah.
And it really does skew your judgment. But I don't care. I just don't. If you know you have the propensity of that happening when you've consumed alcohol, because trust me, if you've done it on a cruise ship, that means you've probably done it somewhere else too. I'm just saying. So, but that's the club fights that are happening in the middle of the night. Some of these others, this is just pure stupidity. Whatever the reason, pure stupidity. So, and so you just can't fix stupid. Is that the phrase? You just can't fix stupid. So I think it would curtail a lot of it after a bit of time when they see the policy enforced and it comes out in the news. They're enforcing it. They're enforcing it. They're enforcing it. Zero tolerance. I agree. And to be honest, I would just like to see a lot of their policies adhered to in more of this ways. A lot of the stories we talked about tonight. Again, the towels and, going to your cabins when you're not supposed to, and dining room etiquette, and it's just all these rules that are always there that they mostly turn their heads to. If somebody's not dressed appropriately, you can stop them at the door. Oh, I'm so sorry. You need to at least put on a polo. T-shirts and a ball cap are just not. I mean, how many times have we said on the last 2 cruises, on the Aqua and the World America, both ships?
Yeah.
All the time. All the time. Right? So, or short. I mean, anyway. Yes. Go on and on. Isn't there an industry organization for? Yeah, it's called CLIA.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I remember it from. Yeah, it's called CLIA.
Cruise Lines Industry Association, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they're not a governing body
No, they're
for
not.
this kind of thing.
They're just an association.
They're an association, and the cruise lines belong to the association. But ultimately, it'd be great if the association could jump in and facilitate this kind of a thing. But ultimately, it would come down to the presidents, CEOs, whatever you want to call them, of these specific corporations to have a call and a meeting and say, hey,
Yep.
let's just band together.
Yeah.
Zero tolerance policy for the industry. Because with few exceptions, like MSC is one of them, They're independent. They're privately owned, mom and pop, right? They're not a public corporation, but Carnival, Royal, and NCL, who own a lot of cruise lines, they are public corporations. They're traded, but MSC's private. So invite them in, right? Because they have their own brand, both MSC and Explorer Journeys, which is their luxury brand. In fact, Royals or Celebrity or the Royal Corporation is expanding their line. I think with its Celebrity though, they're now going to be doing they're building some river cruise ships.
Okay.
So they're getting into the river cruise ship business.
Gotcha.
Right. So it just the industry is expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding.
It is.
So anyway, Irene's like, talk to John Heald. I can get a message to him, but it would require a face to face.
Yeah.
We haven't had a phone call in a long time.
No, it has been a while.
Yeah, the last
Since
time I had a
Firenze.
phone. No, well, we haven't seen him since the Firenze, but we haven't
Yes.
talked to him since he was a cruise director.
Yeah.
Because we actually used to have his phone number, but that was like
Years
17 phones ago, and his number's long gone. Not that he would take a call from me now anyway, but yeah, it would require face to face. But John speaks for the Carnival Cruise Line brand. He doesn't speak for the Carnival Corporation. But I mean, it would be a good place to start, I guess, right?
Sure.
I came in late. Have you mentioned your next cruise? No, but it's coming up pretty quick.
It is coming up very quickly.
It's coming up pretty quick. You know, won't be too long. Won't be too long. So. I tell you to mark your calendars, but that would require me to tell you what to mark. So I'm not going to do that. Cheers.
He's being all secretive.
I am. Hey, it is snack time, everybody. Everybody, grab your snack. Little snack music.
So here we go again, it's no surprise. 'Cause we know better than to roll the dice. So take this love and try to make it new. You can't fight it when it feels so true. You drive me crazy like no one else. The final moment before I lose myself. And it's no use working 9 to 5 if you want more than to stay alive. So come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light falls. So come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light, oh.
All right, everybody, what did you have for snack? Leave it in the chat. I want to know what you have for snack. Chris, I will tell you this, though. It's on a royal ship. But that's all we're saying. Not telling you anything else. He's
I'm
like,
surprised he gave you that much information.
oh, come on. Well, I just told you the line, and that's all we're saying. It's on a royal ship. And that's it. You guys can have fun figuring it out. And even if you guess, I'm not telling you. I don't even think I'll read them aloud.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
No.
Not gonna happen.
No, I'm disappointed. Goal.
Ah, there's Macrina.
Yeah,
I
we-
just told Robert I thought you were asleep.
Wake up, Macrina. Irene had half ice cream for dinner, so no snack tonight. Or she had ice cream for dinner.
Oh, yum! What flavor?
We're having chicken tonight, right?
Steak.
Ooh, steak? Is that what was
Sirloin.
out? Ooh, we're having steak for dinner. Oh, yeah! Steak! Yeah, we had a combination of popcorn and
And cheese
cheese
balls.
balls.
Yeah.
We call it cheesy air because, man, you eat those things. I could probably, if I wasn't paying attention, eat that entire bucket.
Yeah,
I just-
probably.
It doesn't fill you up. It's like eating air.
No, you put it in your mouth and it just kind of dissolves.
No, I'm not telling you. No. Danny had water for a snack.
Water.
Chris had thin mints and milk. Ooh, that's a great combination. You
Ah.
know, my favorite is Entenmann's chocolate donuts with milk. Oh, I love that.
That's pretty good too.
Ooh, Macrina had cheese curls. Well, I had cheese balls. She had cheese curls.
Yeah, you
Again,
two are on the
get
same
out of my
wavelength.
brain. Get out
Man,
of my brain.
always.
Get out of me brain. It hurts. Yeah, so. Thin
Very
mints.
nice.
No. 9. We are not telling you anything.
Have you given up all the information you're going to give them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
I just
all
told you,
right.
Royal Caribbean. That's
Okay.
it.
Royal Caribbean.
You have what, a 29% or a 29th? Because there's 29.
29
yeah,
ships.
You have a 1 in 29 chance of guessing, but even if you start naming off ships, I'm not telling you. Alex keeps on prodding. Big RCL or little RCL? It's RCL. Aren't they basically all big these days? Well, no, that's not really.
No.
No,
They're not
all
mega.
big.
There's mega and they're regulars and
Yeah, what is the classification
I
these
don't
days of
know.
ships? You've got some of the older ships that are like 70 to 100-ish thousand tons, 110. And then there's, kind of a gaggle in the 130 to 150, 60, 70, 80. And then there's a big jump
yeah, the
to the
220.
220s and up,
Yeah.
or even 210s and up, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the MSC World America is like 216.
That sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
So
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the classifications are these days.
Carol says leaving Thursday on the Liberty of the Seas. Woohoo!
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy
Well-
your cruise.
Well, then I guess we'll miss you on the next live broadcast.
Oh, we
Yeah.
might. We
Yeah,
might.
unless she's gonna,
Oh, that's
Cue
true.
in
'cause
from the
Thursday.
ship.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So anyway, I've been working since 6 p.m. Work catch up since I was off Friday. Ugh, yeah. Understood.
Yeah.
Tin roof.
Rusty.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh God, that song. Tin roof, which is chocolate covered peanuts and fudge and vanilla ice cream. Oh God, that sounds good.
Ooh.
I've got some Oreo.
That does sound good.
I've got some Oreo cookie ice cream in the freezer that's got my name on it after my steak. We're gonna have some steak for dinner tonight. I thought that it was awesome. MSC gave you complimentary popcorn. You get like 6 kernels. Well, that,
No, that's decent size.
yeah, that was all part of their little bar there. You got like hot dog.
Yeah, they've got hot dogs. They've got empanadas. They've got cotton candy. Yeah.
Yeah, she got a large cotton candy. We didn't.
Yeah.
I thought I put that picture in one of the highlights or whatever. It was.
You did a video.
Yeah, they asked, is it small or large? She's like, oh, large. So,
Yeah, they make it fresh, so
think alike.
How much do you want?
Ooh, Bev had bruschetta with feta.
Ooh.
Bruschetta with feta is better.
Man, that sounds amazing. Oh yeah. I like me some bruschetta.
Less than a 1 in 29th. You seem to be leaving soon. You're probably in your RV, in your house, so only 3 ports. We are in our RV. I
We
mean,
are. Yep.
It's not a fake backdrop. Eat at Sabres on Liberty, Carol. It's good. There you go.
Good information.
Okay. Okay. They charge for popcorn and cotton candy on Royal and Disney.
Yeah.
Honestly, most of the cruise lines charge for their popcorn. And
Virgin does not.
No, Virgin does not. But, I mean, everybody else does.
Everybody else
Yeah.
does. Yeah. Oh, and pretzels too. Virgin, they have as well as an MSC had popcorn and pretzels.
God, no, I want some more popcorn. Give me I need the popcorn. I know snack time's over, but we're talking about all the popcorn. I gotta have the.
Yeah. But I will say that the popcorn I felt on MSC, it needed some oil. They had like flavored stuff you can shake on it, but I like mine better.
Great popcorn. We're gonna share the rest. We're gonna share the recipe on the group cruise. Tastes just like you get in the movie theater.
Like movie theater popcorn.
It's got a secret recipe.
Yeah.
We could tell you here, but you know what had happened, right? But we can tell you privately on the group cruise.
Yeah.
That we're there, we don't have to do the inevitable. Yeah. Sorry. I want to talk about popcorn. I just had to have some more. Forgive my horrible eating habits. Okay. And Carol says, yes, I know. Okay. I think she's talking about missing the next live.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. Well, we'll catch on the next one.
You know, it's funny. It doesn't matter where in the batch of popcorn we are. The last handful, I always get one stuck.
Always.
Always. It's like, all right, last one. Oh, come on. How many people that happened to?
He used to blame it on the bottom of the barrel of popcorn, but now it's like, so
It doesn't matter where.
He stopped eating it and now he still gets the stuff stuck in his teeth.
Yeah. It sucks. All right, y'all. We've been with you a couple hours. We appreciate each and every one of you being here as always.
Absolutely.
Don't forget our group cruise. If you're joining us late, we do have a group cruise coming up. Please consider coming along with us. We would love to have each and every one of you with us. If you want more information, just send it to our email. Type I want info or I want to go, whatever, on the group cruise. I will provide the information to you. If you're ready to book, I will send you the information for the agent that's handling this for us, somebody we've been with for a very, very long time and we trust, but you must book into the group cruise. But there, don't forget, we also have our group on Facebook. We post different information there, so please consider going there. It's going to ask you a couple questions because it's a private group, meaning what was your first cruise and adhering to the group rules, right? Answer those two and it will let you write in. If you don't answer, declined. It's going to decline you, okay? All right. Don't forget our Patreon if you want to help support the channel. We do have a Patreon account. Help us keep on doing the things that we do here and keep us going. Okay. We do appreciate each and every one of you. But you all can do this because this is 100% free. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, become part of the Tall Man Clan. It is for you. Again, it costs you absolutely nothing. And that in itself helps us out as well. So we do appreciate each and every one of you.
Yes, we do.
A couple more comments here.
Okay.
Chris says, they get you with the popcorn buckets on Disney, but they are great souvenirs. Oh, she gave the recipe before. Oh, I don't remember. Did you?
A long time ago.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll give it out. Whatever. I guess we don't have to kill you. FYI, there are 4 Royal Caribbean ships sailing out of Florida.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. All right, everybody. We do appreciate each and every one of you. We really do. Love you all. But you know the drill, right? We don't have to go home, but we do have to get the out of here. Peace.